wait a minute. Who did that to my microphone? I'm kidding. I did it. I did it on accident. I was not trying to mess with my microphone. It serves me right because here I'm going to do an episode that has a critique over these talk shows. And so, just like the way the universe wants to work, knows I got some stuff to say. Not tearing down nobody, of course, but I'm like, oh, let me give my opinion on what Sherri needs to do. And lo and behold, I mess up with my microphone. So shame on me for not being perfect, although I'm very close to perfect. And that is why I try to do what I try to do. I'm kidding. Comically, though, let's talk about the talk shows in general. This has nothing to do with any specific host, but it's just like, let's talk about all of them. On some of my other shows, you've noticed that I've talked about like talk show, like a late night talk show, or even like a daytime, like a Rosie O'Donnell style show, is something I've always wanted to do. So many people that succeed in like broadcast or TikTok these days is now broadcasting, which is weird. Versus like when I started my career in 2003 when like you had to be a broadcaster. You know, check my resume. I've done many radio and television works over the years. My point is, what is my point? My point is I love this stuff so much. So I'm not critiquing in a space of like, let me just like say Sherri ain't cutting it. I'm doing it in a way that I like really care about this particular genre that like in so many ways has changed a lot. You know, you go and watch the old Johnny Carson clips and they're and when I would watch the show as a child, it was so much like time spent to let those jokes develop, him and Ed McMahon, the way they banter with each other. Now everything is so, let's play pin the tail on the donkey with the celebrity. It's just really stupid stuff that wants you to get a laugh this fast. But you think about it in the true form of like comedy, like the art of comedy, it's usually a buildup that will take you there. So even if you laugh just as high as you did with the pin the tail on the donkey, you didn't actually feel the emotion. So I get weary of the way the new talk shows are being done. And for me, my goal is always to create my own talk show in this space. It wasn't always, you know, over the years I've worked with radio talent like Rick Dees. I've worked, I got a chance to be on Fuse TV with the live IFB monitor director downstairs, live television, doing a video countdown show for Fuse TV. So I used to always kind of count and more so want to do programs in that space, you know, the traditional media, let's say. But I will say the way even traditional media is sort of trying to find its footing now that social media does so well, you would think what they would do is just double down and give a good talk show. But what they're doing now is they're trying to TikTok their shows together. You know, oh, can't have anything too long because we got to make sure the attention span. Just give a good interview. Just have an opening monologue that makes sense. Be compelling. Be compelling. That's all we ask in a good talk show. And that's what all the greats did back in the day. They held your interest. They made sure when they were talking, you were listening. But trying to like weave into, well, this is going to look good for TikTok. I mean, Sherri Shepherd had a segment recently where she was not trying on, but she was participating in all the big TikToks that millennials love or Gen whatever love. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's just such an aim and such an attempt and not really a good one of like trying to get that big viral moment. The good viral moments, see, before viral moments was a thing, working in radio, I'm talking about, or TV, there was always the TV moment. And that was an organic moment. You built and worked for that. Sherri's a talented woman. She can do that. So on one hand, I just would like to see more, but we're not judging anyone in particular. We're just the new particular shows that happen to be out right now are Sherri Shepherd, which, you know, of course, filled in for Wendy Williams and sort of like took the time slot. So I want to say, like, will she succeed? There's always a chance that she won't, but there's always a chance that she does because the time slot was a big lead-in time slot. You know, not lead-in like lead-in show, but lead-in meaning, you know, you're taking where such a big audience used to come all the time to see this type of content, and then now you're the person giving it. Although, you know, she has changed her show quite a bit. It looks way different. Than Wendy, which was, of course, to be expected. I just don't know if she's got the footing yet. She overly uses the word good time. We're going to have a good time. Everything's a good time. Well, you offer no peaks and valleys with the good time. This is not a Hallmark card. You need to have peaks and valleys when you want to make a good show, and she does. She had an emotional segment too. She a comedian friend that she wanted to talk about, and that was very good. But a lot of it is just like a good time. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a good time. The theme song says "good time" like 19 times before the opening credits even start. We're gonna have a real good time, feel good time, spreading joy and laughter through the place. It is too much. When you were trying to make somebody happy and laugh, it happens naturally. You don't walk into a room saying, "Hi, I'm the good person, so we'll get along." It doesn't work that way, and that's kind of like what the talk show feels like. Jennifer Hudson is another one with the new talk show. I think that it's so insanely amazing that she is a Emmy Award winner, Grammy Award winner, Oscar Award winner, and Tony Award winner. The Tony was the recent one. She is, I think, one of only 17 EGOTs that are around. Talk show host is not one thing that is in her skill set, though. In the olden days, it was a big focus and a big push on making sure that the talk shows, I guess the talk shows were a little bit different, but now they cater quite a bit to, like, you got to go shaking the hands of everybody and hugging everybody and saying hi audience, I love you. And I think the olden days of talk shows, I think you could be a little grumpier and still be successful. Thinking of Donahue, I mean, outside of the photo that we're staring at right now, I don't think he ever smiled. The great Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake, all of the fantastic people from back in the day. Though it was a different type of show that people would do back in the day. Oprah, after Phil Donahue, you kind of thought like Phil Donahue was such the talk show. I mean, I guess you could see it coming, but like Oprah just like dominated after, for so many years. So there's always going to be a new person to shine. I just don't know if this new group is the team, not team, but are the ones that are going to carry the talk show legacy across. Sherri does a good job, I guess, and she's very known. I just don't know if she's completely likable. And it's funny because the show is all about being liked and being good and being happy. And then Jennifer Hudson, I think we just, it's so hard to say it now because you're like, oh wow, Jennifer Hudson, you want to give her a shot. But I mean, they cancel shows fast these days. They cancel shows so quickly. I mean, it's like Nick Cannon's show started and ended before you knew it. So on one hand, you could be like, Ronnie, let them have a shot. And we are just critically giving opinions here on today's episode. I one thing to mention, and this is just drawing back from my own experience, when I worked in radio, there was a thing called the air check. It's like an audit of your show. You have to listen to that with the program director. Well, suppose that never happened. Well, then I'm going off into the world and I'm just doing whatever I feel is great at all times. And now I'm not saying you got to listen to everybody. That is not what I'm saying. But you pick a group of colleagues and professionals and people who know, what it really means to make, a talk show really, really shine and really pop. And that's who you get with. But you definitely make sure you get with somebody. And I'm only offering these critiques because I think it's valuable towards Jennifer Hudson becoming better or Sherri Shepherd becoming better. And somebody could say, well, they got a talk show, so, they must be better than you. I mean, these days, nobody gets a shot unless you're a celebrity. I think I counted on my hand. There's 2 commercials now with like a spokesperson that isn't a celebrity. Well, technically the State Farm guy too. He kind of became somebody out of it. But like, I think there's the Chase. It's like a Spectrum, or is it a Chase United credit card and another one? But everything else is celebrity, which is like in our commercials. So we're not talking about commercials here, but I'm saying the opportunity to get an opportunity, nobody gets an opportunity no more. I mean, would you think Kelly Cuoco, who made all that money at Big Bang Theory, and she must have imposter syndrome because maybe she wasn't that talented to get that much money. Would you think she just like chill and like work when she needs to work or whatever? And I'm not saying she doesn't want to work and do, I think she did the flight attendant and she's now in another one. But like nowhere in your mind do you and your agent say, you know what, I'm going to turn down this commercial because, a young up and coming working actress probably could use this. It's not that way anymore. So I'm just giving the context. If you're judging me, if you're judging Ronnie, somebody who knows what I'm talking about. Wow, why did I not curse there? I'm so used to just cursing on the channel, but for some reason I held it back. Maybe I'm getting ready for my talk show. But I know what I'm talking about on a lot of levels, and I really love this particular topic of talk shows because I enjoy it so much. And people who love this type of genre, they love it too. So the critiques that I'm giving aren't just like, get her out of there, there's Sherri, get her out, she's no good. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm actually doing it in a really smart way. I'm really saying this is what I think these particular hosts can bring and grow and get better. One of the things, even with Jennifer Hudson, I feel like a lot of her interviews, she's very like, she'll ask the question. I think she had one with Magic Johnson recently. So how did you and Cookie meet? And then he's like, I met her, at Michigan State, and was at a dance, and she was dropping to the floor, and I knew I had to have her. And so Jennifer, and she does this with every guest. You met her at Michigan State, and she dropped to the floor. Well, all right now. It's like Jennifer Hudson only whispers back the answer of the question that she asked, and it's with every interview. That's all she does. She asks a question, they say the answer, and then she just is like, well, how about that? And she just whispers back exactly what they said. So, we'll need a little bit of fine tuning with that. I do say that maybe Sherri's could work because she does have, I don't know. With Sherri, she had the talk show on Dish Nation. It wasn't a talk show, but she had a pop culture commentary show on Dish Nation. And based on like her, she didn't really create an impact. So why would you move? New York City is the greatest city in the world, but in terms of her being somebody who's lived in LA or wants to live in LA, I think she was only in New York for the View. She wasn't like living there. You leave Dish Nation, and obviously the money's so great for the talk show, but nobody was even like, when I don't like Portia Williams on The Housewives. She's lesser to Kenya, of course. She's Portia Williams, not very intelligent in my opinion, not really the one to string a sentence together. I'm a Kenya Moore type of guy, but at least when Portia Williams did Dish Nation, there was some impact. Like, she talked, and it would, her, not that I value social or viral clips so much, but Portia Williams would be able to drive, a conversation, and people would react. But for some reason, Sherri's been on Dish Nation for a year, 2 years, and nobody seems to care. So if no one cared when she was on Dish Nation, how are we going to make them care when she has her own show? Greater things have happened, and maybe she ends up with a viral moment tomorrow, and then the Sherri Shepherd show wins. But in terms of, we're missing Wendy. Lots of other shows that got canceled. Jesus Amaro is gone now, so there's just such a void, and I don't think Sherri Shepherd is really stepping into the void. And such a blessing that EGOT winner and everything like that. But you can't necessarily, and I don't know if this was a factor, but you can't say, oh, well, Kelly Clarkson came from American Idol. She's at a different stage of her life. Let's give her a talk show. It works. It's like, it might not work. Maybe, and if you do, well, too, maybe Fantasia Barrino is the big star that we just don't know about yet. Maybe Jordan Sparks is the big American Idol alum that we just, really are ready for. Michaela Gordon has been doing broadcasting for on a morning radio show for years. Maybe she's the one who could transition her skill set into a talk show. See, we're basing it all on celebrity. Like, the celebrity's going to drive everything. Like I said, these commercials, count on your hands. Go do it yourself. You'll very rarely see a commercial with a spokesperson that's not a celebrity. Matthew McConaughey with the Lincoln, like I said, Kaylee Cuoco in everything. It's even like with the movies, Tom Hanks. Like, we don't need to see you in everything, Tom Hanks. I'll play Geppetto. I'll play. Just stop, Tom Hanks. Just be more selective with your roles, please. Being a big name is like the easiest way to get you more work these days, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I love that when someone succeeds, they get more opportunity. But thinking about like even Sherri Shepherd's era, when she was breaking through, there was a chance for you to break through. Who's the next person? Why did the network, have to be so keen on like, it needs to be Sherri, a known person? I can name 15 people because I've worked in radio. I've worked in talent management with Marquis Costello. I've worked in podcasting or in the original era of it with AfterBuzz TV, which is Maria Menounos's company, or was Maria Menounos's company, or at the time. So I know like a lot of people who have been who have developed a skill set to do this type of job. I come from radio, so I always think the radio people are always the first and best people to do it. Aside from the people who have faces for radio. Now we all have to be beautiful. I'm beautiful, luckily, but I could tighten it up. Give me a talk show in 3 weeks. I'll tighten it up. I'm just being funny. I'm being silly. The point is, this is where we're at. And this is also why we're not having a lot of hope with our shows. I think it's terrible. I think they should have given Nick Cannon a little bigger of a shot. Maybe a little longer of a time. He could have amassed the audience. He could have grown, but you didn't even give him a chance to win. And so you're going to tell me Nick Cannon, who I think generally was pretty fun, his show got canceled in next to no time. Sadly, Jennifer Hudson, I mean, it's going to take a lot. But again, we're in a day and age where you could go TikTok viral tomorrow, and maybe one of these two hosts, if not both, will go viral tomorrow. And then that kind of keeps you succeeding for the next day. Stay up to fight another day. But I wish them both well in terms of it being their dream. I just, do want to make sure that anyone who gets a talk show, it is their dream. I don't know. Jennifer Hudson saying like, this is my dream. It's like, well, wasn't singing your dream? But she's done really, really well with her career. This was my dream. This was every bio that I've ever had, in terms of like when I started radio, any radio station I've ever worked at, any opportunity that I've ever had, it's always been like, I'm leading towards getting a talk show. Like that's always the goal for me. And I'm doing the work to get that. I'm doing even right now, like errors or not, it's been a very long day. Not that Sherri doesn't have a long day too, but I am doing what it takes to continuously practice, get better, and be ready for when that big opportunity comes. So tell me what you think. Oh my God, I am so corny now. Now I sound like all these moron YouTubers. Tell me what you think in the comments of who was your talk show host that you vibed with, growing up. Were you an Oprah fan? Were you a Ricky Lake fan? Were you a Jenny Jones fan? Remember, Jenny Jones had that one issue. Not her, but her show. And then the one did the thing to the other, and it kind of tarnished Jenny Jones's name. Tell me who you liked. Richard Bay was somebody. We said Ricky Lake. Did you like Tyra Banks? If you like Tyra Banks, maybe that's your gal. But I want to know who was the talk show, and it can be a late night TV too. Did you favor Johnny Carson? Were you mad that David Letterman didn't get the position and it went to Jay Leno? Were you mad that Jay Leno quit and then came back and had a weird 10 o'clock position, but then eventually went back to 11:35? It's a lot. Talk shows I love so much, and I would love to even learn more about them. But I just thought it was a really fun thing to do this season, is like, let's see who the new talk show hosts are, talk about what's the goods and the bads, and then go from there. Karamo is doing a Maury Povich-like show. And I kind of think for him, that's kind of good, because when he's just like left to be interviewed or whatever, he's like a little hype. He's a little, I don't want to say full of himself, but I feel like he definitely navigated his career possibly in a, what do they always say? Be careful who you step on the way up, because on the way down, the people will still be there. I feel like he might have been a very like selfish winner. That's not saying anything bad, but like a very shifty winner in terms of becoming somebody who did succeed, but like I don't know, does he read this likable? Well, even if he does or doesn't, and on the TV show Queer Eye, I think he does a great job, and this is kind of an extension of that. I'll just say him on the talk show, even though that's not my kind of talk show where they have like they're like here's this man and he's dating this girl and this girl's cousin, and they both know about it, and they're here to confront him. But what they don't know is he's dating both of their moms, and one of their moms is pregnant. On the next Maury Povich, or Karamo in this case. So Karamo's show is not really about him. It's just about how he deals with these just insane stories. I kind of feel like he could do a good job. So even though I said what I said, I think he can do a good job. It's a nice role for him. Not my kind of talk shows. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I didn't ever watch Maury because it had gotten so ridiculous. But I think I think he's here to stay of everyone else I mentioned. So that's very exciting. I mean, I loved watching him on the Real World Philadelphia. It was an impactful moment. I think it was like 2004. I remember because I was working in Vegas radio, and it was such a shock. Like that was like the big thing. Like how, and I hate even the term of this, but how a normal guy, had came out or whatever. That was like the scene. That was the water cooler conversation at the time. I remember because on radio we talked about it the next day, and they, one of the guys who hadn't seen it, he's like, "Oh no way!" That's such a shock. So it's nice because even in those days, Karamo showcased, that you can be any type of gay man, and you don't have to subscribe to what the world needs you to be. So I've always actually thought Karamo was very inspiring because of that, especially in my journey of being on camera all the time. It's like, you just really never know how to push and pull within that. You love yourself, of course, no shame in my game. However, you just also want to navigate your, on-camera presence and your direction and where you're trying to go. Anyways, I want Sherri Shepherd to succeed. I hope Jennifer Hudson could succeed, but it feels very slim pickings on terms of that. And I hope I succeed, and I hope you enjoyed the channel. A lot of other content on the channel. It's going to be like Real Housewives inspired stuff and pop culture stuff. And we do a recap, or did a recap on Hulu's Difficult People, and now it's called Difficult Podcasters. And now we're verging into just like some really fun topics as well. So get on the channel, RandomlyRJ.com. It's all right here, and it's all in sync. There's a link tree that will take you everywhere. Suppose you want to donate, throw me like a little Cash App or PayPal or Venmo. It's all available to you. It was funny. One of my friends was saying, I was saying it's corny and thirsty to post so much because I get like, damn, I'm tired of myself. And he was saying, no, quite the opposite. Posting a lot doesn't feel thirsty. But he said, putting up your Venmo looks thirsty. I think the opposite. I think putting up your Venmo is like, yo, if you like what I'm doing, throw some funds my way. My channel, unfortunately, because when you got a newer channel, they don't get you the direct cash. What's it called? Super chat, where people can watch a show and say, oh, great job, I want to support it. I want to support like a independent content creator. So it's, to me, it makes more sense to be like, this is what I do. If you want to support an independent content creator, here are the ways to do it. Posting every day, I'm just like, oh, I'm tired of myself. I don't even want to see me no more. With that being said, go ahead, Sherri, go ahead, Jennifer Hudson, go ahead, whoever is the new hosts this year, and I want everybody to win. And I miss Wendy. I miss Wendy Williams as a healthy TV show host. But at the end of an era, it's like, you see Chelsea Handler when she left. It was like, oh no, who's gonna fill in that? Who's gonna fill in that void? And at that time, boom, Andy Cohen comes, and starts building his thing. So it's a really great thing because, next season I might be the one to get an opportunity and work with the, partnership with a brand. And, I could, within the right budget, I could self-produce my own, situation and, have a Monday through Thursday, regular thing with guests and everything. Anything is possible if you're talented. I was gonna say work hard. I gotta go. You're probably sick of me, so bye. Oh wait, no, can't say bye until I find our outro. Here we go. Okay, outro coming up in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.